It's time to analyze the second half of 2.3's Banner Bonanza. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. We should begin by talking about the silly bard, Ciaconna. Based on what Crow has officially shown us so far, she looks like she's going to be a really valuable support for sure. Why is that? Well, for starters, she's going to be able to apply Aero Erosion and Spectral Frazzle from off-field. This automatically means that upon her release, she may end up being a very comfortable Phoebe option for Whimpering Wastes. Okay, why do I say this? I say that because you need to consistently apply Spectral Frazzle to new enemy waves when playing Phoebe, and using Spectral Robo for this in WUwa is clunky to say the least. Phoebe has historically been the TOA and Hologram's queen, yet with this enthusiastic bard entering the picture, it seems that she'll finally become the excellent all-rounder that she was destined to be. Her application and buffing of Aero Erosion won't have much uses upon her initial release. There is some potential for her to perhaps fit into the final slot of the Ciaconna Rover team core, but we'll just have to wait until she launches to test that one out. It is a potential idea though, so if that's something that piques your interest, stay tuned with that in mind. Based on what Crow has shown, we can also see that she features some grouping capabilities. Considering that she has the potential to boost Phoebe's performance in Whimpering Wastes, that's going to be really handy for keeping all of those trash mobs in one place. Naturally, because she applies Frazzle, she's going to be a great Zani teammate too. Zani, based on her revealed gameplay, appears to have a long sustained rotation, therefore lending her excellently to WUwa as well, meaning that Ciaconna is 100% the pull to make if you're struggling in that game mode, while having interest in either the Acolyte or Goat Banker Lady. I'd say you should really keep your eyes peeled for her if you're a dedicated Phoebe enjoyer. She's going to be great for Spectral Frazzle teams in general, and I believe that she's going to slot well into teams with both Phoebe and Zani in the same comp. Considering that she can continuously apply Frazzle from off-field, I assume that Aero Erosion will become more relevant down the line, but as it currently stands, she'll be a premium support option for Spectral Frazzle teams. Considering that she's going to be synergizing with the top 3 DPS and Phoebe, while also having the potential to work alongside Zani, I'd say that her value is really high as it currently stands. I'm slotting her into A tier for the value rankings of this particular patch. She has high potential in spades, and will save your Phoebe's WUwa clears considering she resolves any previous issues she may have had with multi-wave Frazzle application. Then we must talk about the esteemed Montelli Lady Carlotta. You can easily make the argument for her being the absolute best overall DPS in all of Wuthering Waves. Her power level is absolutely absurd. She melts the TOA down as if it's absolutely nothing, dealing with single target content as if it's nothing more than a mere plaything. She's capable of dealing a ridiculous amount of damage even on static mist. She's also extremely accessible when it comes to your gameplay, so literally anybody can make good use out of the Montelli Lady. She's able to freeze enemies briefly with her skill and attack from long ranges, which makes her really good for taking on difficult encounters that can be annoying to deal with without such benefits. She does really enjoy playing with none other than everybody's favorite silly painter, Jojo. All of that skill percent and glacial percent on outro does wonders for the Montelli Lady, and that's not even mentioning the additional energy provided by her I4. However, that's not to say that you need her, because you can easily get by just fine by using Yang Yang, who can also provide some bonus energy on outro. The only time where I'm iffy on her is Whimpering Wastes. You can in fact make her work well there, but your Carlotta needs to have a very good build so that she is meeting the damage breakpoints in order to quickly melt down waves with her ult bullets. You also need to practice good positioning. If you can manage those two things, then yes. You can literally force the single target character to work in the AoE-centric game mode due to the sheer amount of damage she does. She is an account upgrade through and through. Do I think she's worth getting even if you don't have Jojo? Yes, absolutely. Besides, you can even opt to play more complex Carlotta Changli quickswap teams if that's more your style, or you swap into Changli every time Carlotta casts a longer animation. So you aren't even locked into traditional hypercarry comps, which is neat. SS plus tier in the value rankings for this patch. She's arguably the greatest DPS in the whole game, and if you're in need of a strong main damage dealer, then Carlotta's a great lady to hire for the job. She is indeed the Montelli family's executioner after all. Then we move on to Jinhsi. This lovely magistrate of Jinzhou has a whole lot going for her. For starters, her damage remains as consistent as ever. She's a fantastically strong option to pick for the TOA, and remains as being one of the easiest to use DPSs in the entire game. Her nuclear blasts are extremely satisfying for boss scenarios. I'd say she's not that good for WUwa, since multi-wave has never really been her main strength, and you really feel that with how overkill her nukes are against waves of trash mobs, but in most regular content, she's still super strong. Does she still retain relevance after Phoebe? Yes, in my opinion, because the fact that they're both Spectro doesn't have much to do with their individual value as characters. They play in different ways and take up different teammates. You can very easily have both healthily coexist on one account. The recent release of Counterella means that another potential coordinated attacker has been added to your teams, and Jojo can now be more easily freed up for Carlotta, but if you don't have access to either of those to your Yinlin, then fear not, because Jinhsi has a lovely free-to-play friendly choice in Yuan Wu, who can get his job done down at level 20. I will say that she's not as dominant of a pull as she once was, and you can certainly get by fine without her these days. We're spoiled for choice in terms of main DPSs. I'd say that if you don't have Jinhsi, it's better to invest into characters that have potential in a wider variety of game modes at this point, but if you need help with TOA in particular, then she will continue to shine excellently there. she's still 100% a great investment to make, even to this very day. I don't think you need her by any means, but she's still super strong, and just because we have a respect for DPSs doesn't suddenly mean that Jinhsi is worthless. S tier when it comes to the value rankings of this patch. You'll get great kilometerage out of her for sure. Changli, my beloved. She is my main alongside Mr. Brant Wuthering Waves, so naturally, I have a lot of experience with her. She's an excellent pull in the sense that she's one of the most versatile characters in the entire game. You can use her effectively in all game modes, including holograms in my experience, and she's actually insane in WUwa because of how large her AoE slashes are. Plus the fact that she's able to easily fill in damage downtimes, making her ideal for that mode. You can slot her in with literally any character that likes to quick swap, a technique in which you switch to another unit to do a move when another unit is still doing a move. Her gameplay is very fast-paced in nature, and she's also quite free-to-play accessible, because she does very well on Emerald of Genesis, meaning that you don't particularly need Blazing Brilliance in order for her to feel good. However, the main thing that holds back her value, the fact that her viability completely scales off of you as a player. If you're good at using Changli, she will feel like an SS plus tier pull, but if you're really bad at quick swap, then she will feel practically unusable to you. Brant remedies this by allowing you to play her more like a traditional on-field carry to make the most use out of his outro skill. You can still quick swap with Brant Wuthering Waves, but that easier avenue is there for you to take, so that angle does exist too. If you can optimize your gameplay, then she's gonna feel like one of the best pulls you've ever made in your entire life. Otherwise, avoid her like the plague. I 100% recommend her if you're somebody that likes more high-effort, high-reward gameplay though. She's not easy to master whatsoever, and it's because of such a quality that she's such an interesting unit. A great pull that benefits a whole ton of various teams while having insane endgame versatility, with the ability to excel in all endgame tier challenges. Just don't pull without considering how much effort it will take to fully utilize her. With that being said, endgame makes up maybe 10 to 15% of Wuthering Waves' overall content. I say this because alternatively, in the rest of this open world game, she is one of the most comfortable units to use in Overworld. 99% of the reason that I main her and Brant is because they're both so good for all of my exploration or other day-to-day activities. It just happened naturally, due to how convenient her kit is for Overworld. I 100% recommend her if you're big on Overworld content. Her value is extremely relative to the individual, but I'm gonna slot her in S tier for the value rankings of this patch. If you cannot use her properly, she is then C to B tier. What she offers you when used well is seriously no joke, but I really want to emphasize how important it is to learn how to use her well. Brant Wuthering Waves, the silly man himself. Climax of the show! Haha! Anyways, yes, Brant Wuthering Waves. Naturally, because I was a Changli main, I guess that makes me a Brant main too, because both of them literally never leave my team under any circumstances, and are both my main go-tos for literally any difficult content. This dude brings a lot to the table, with one major caveat attached. Well, two actually, but I'll get into that one more later. He offers a crud ton of personal damage, like his Forte Anchor does a whole lot, dude. You'd be surprised. His playstyle is super fun, because he sounds like he's having a lot of fun when he fights. Not that relevant to his meta position, but I do smile when I use him since he's so damn silly. Aside from that, he heals and shields at the same time, making him a great unit if you do care for solo challenges at all, while also making him a fantastic unit for casuals, because he helps keep your team alive so easily. You're meant to use him as a second slot teammate, by the way, so this means he offers all of that on top of whoever your third slot healer is. His outro skills, fusion percent, and skill percent provision makes him a fantastic partner in crime for none other than everybody's favorite Phoenix Lady Changli, and is an excellent second slot teammate for fusion DPSs in general thanks to that. He's literally an insane option in Whimpering Wastes too, thanks to his ability to deal with enemy waves so well. You could even say that he wuthers them. Hilarity. Anyways, this makes him excellent for all game modes, and he saved my life in holograms, dude. I can vouch for him in so many ways, except for one. Needing his signature weapon to trigger tide-breaking courage effectively. Sadly, not having his main dedicated weapon severely gimps this dude's damage. Will he still be fine on Overture? Yes. Can you use him on Emerald of Genesis with 5 pieces of the basic fusion set? Yes. However, it is undeniable that Brant is one of the most signature demanding units in the entire game. I only recommend getting him if you can get the full package deal of him plus his weapon, unless you're an avid Changli enjoyer that would benefit heavily from his outro skill either way. Just do note that he's not going to feel anywhere near as strong without Unflickering Valor. And as for the second thing, holy, this guy gets interrupted so easily. Sometimes you will have your Forte Anchor nuke prepared, ready to go, ready to totally blast down the enemy, and then he gets knocked out of it. It's so annoying. He gets knocked out of his position just so easily. Even if you have the shield up, he will still get toppled over, and it is very frustrating. Now, is this a total deal breaker? No, because at the end of the day, even if you get interrupted once or even worst case scenario twice, you'll still clear the stage, and you can always reset in the absolute worst case. But it is indeed Very, very frustrating. I did feel like I had to mention that, because my goodness, does it happen often enough to the point where you will notice it. Anyways, also, much like Changli, dude's a legend in the overworld. Pair those two together, and you will never main another character ever again. I swear. I'm gonna rank him in A tier, assuming you have his weapon. He's a fantastic pull for sure, but you don't need him by any means. Super convenient to own though, and he makes me smile when I use him, so that's nice. Then last and least, we have Roccia. Skip her, even if you have Camellia. You want better performance out of your crazy lady? Then get sequence nodes for Camellia, or attain Red Spring if you don't have it already. There is literally always someone or something better to pull for aside from Roccia, my guy. Yes, her plus Camellia is insane in WUwa, but you really should already be obliterating that game mode of Camellia on her own. Sure, there's Havoc Rover teams, but you could also save yourself up to 160 limited character pulls by just using Donjin for him instead. Need a Somhole replacement? Once again, Donjin's here to save a day. She's underwhelming in TOA, and is way too overkill in Whimpering Wastes considering how low value she is everywhere else. Sanhua pretty much ends her entire career, especially if you don't have Roscia's signature weapon. If you like her and want her anyway, that's great. Go for her. But in good conscience, when it comes to analysis of how best to invest your Astrites, objectively speaking, it will be disingenuous of me to pretend like Roccia is worth it among all of the insane banners that we have this time around. C tier in the value rankings for this patch. The worst limited 5-star pull that you can make in all of Wuthering Waves. There's variety in spades here. Something for everyone certainly suits the upcoming banner situation. It's a unique predicament that we have so many units to choose from all at once, so hopefully these analyses that I've made will be able to help you set the course for your Wuthering Waves account in 2.3. Who will you be pulling for, if anyone? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I have a ZZZ second channel. Head on over and subscribe if you're interested in some fun, silly ZZZ content. I'd also like to mention that I stream on Twitch. I stream once a week every week on Saturdays, started from 3 PM UK time. Come along so we can play Wuthering Waves, ZZZ, and do some other fun stuff together. Hopefully this video was able to tell you who'd get you the most bang for your Astrites in Wuthering Waves version 2.3. This has been Juice, signing out, and as an avid believer of the Changli agenda, I'm gonna start a war. Changli's skin looks better than Carlotta's. I don't make the rules.